Music on blast mode, children in the light, get your life, get your flash on, know it cracks, keeping eyes on. You ain't tell me
The breakdown.
Oh, this segment is 5 minutes.
All right.
Welcome to the Praise Radio Show. I am your host, Mandy D. Roberson. And to my right, I have the wonderful and handsome Uncle Rich.
Hey, hi.
Hey. That's what you want today, huh?
Yeah. Fat Albert's not here.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah, we usually have the beautiful Miss Joy.
Yeah. And we welcome the beautiful Miss Joy, wherever she's at.
Yeah, she is out today, but it's all right. It's all right. We miss her.
The show must go on, as
Show
they
must
say.
go on. Yes.
That's showbiz, y'all.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I think I added a new segment.
Really?
Right. Nothing major. Something.
What, who's missing?
Who's missing? Miss Joy. I think I added a small segment to the beginning of the show
Okay.
called
Dun, dun, dun.
Count Your Blessings.
Count your blessings.
Count Your Blessings.
1 for the money, 2 for the show. 3 to get ready, and your blessings must go.
All right. Let me.
Come on now, what y'all say out there? Oh, that's copywritten already, don't try to repeat it. Okay, thank you very
Usually
much.
have the deep mic, but Miss Joy not here.
Yeah. I'm a rapper.
You're a rapper today. So count your blessings will be your opportunity for us in the beginning of the show to just kind of reflect over our week.
Okay.
Or over the previous month, or
For the
you know,
last
whichever.
show.
Yeah,
For the last show.
previous time prior to the last show. Moments that we are counting as a blessing. So count your blessings. Anything that stood up to you since the last show that has happened for you, with you, to you, for someone else?
Well, the fact is
At your
that
hands.
I'm alive to be here.
That's a blessing.
That's a blessing in
That's
itself.
a big one.
That's a big
That's a
one.
big
That's a
one.
big. That's a deep mic there.
Yeah,
That's a deep mic there.
If he wasn't, I'd have a problem.
Yeah.
Many problems.
Yeah. But I mean, everything's just been a blessing. Just being able to build a higher relationship with God this week. In some things that's been going on in my heart, in my mind. So, just being blessed to be a blessing.
Amen.
What about you?
So
You went
for
traveling.
me, I traveled. I did not too far, but this previous week was the Gospel Industry Network's conference.
Oh.
So I had the pleasure of going. It was my first year
Okay.
going, and phenomenal. A lot of gospel industry leaders were there. A lot of radio personalities, artists, and just individuals that are doing a variety of things and creative things to lift up the name of Jesus and just, to continue to pour into the kingdom. So it was a blessing. I met so many great people. Me and my hubby have some new friends out of the deal.
All right now.
So that's a plus. Naya made some new friends. So that's a plus. I was trying to get her to come out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
And go and introduce herself to individuals and share, what she does and who she is and make new friends. And in the beginning, it was like, okay. And then when she would see somebody, she wanted to introduce herself to. It's like, Mommy, can you come with me? So,
It's all right, that's support.
right. So
That's
I would
support.
go with her, and then she would be like, can you tell them I want to meet them? And so in the beginning, I did it, but as time went on, it's like, nope. You introduce yourself, like I'm standing right here. And then it was, I'm in the same room. And then it was, I'll be back here, but go. And by the end of the conference, she
didn't need you no more.
didn't need me as much anymore, and that was great. So,
But if I had to give her some advice in reference to how to do that, I would tell her to make Kool-Aid.
what?
Because if you make Kool-Aid, you make friends.
Not with me. Not with me. You bring me
That's what the
Kool-Aid.
commercial does.
You bring me Kool-Aid.
And had the big
I don't
Kool-Aid guy in.
I still be your friend though, because it was the thought that counts.
Oh, okay.
But we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break and we will be right back. Please join us. Stay with us.
She wanted to tell you don't touch that
I
down.
wasn't gonna say
Yes,
don't
you
touch
was.
it down, but it was in my
Yeah.
head.
We'll be right back. Wow, I remember us being selected a couple of years ago as the #1 internet radio show in the land. And so,
In the land.
you know, so we're gonna have to bring that back up because I definitely think that we bring a lot to the table. We're not disposing or exposing anyone else. We're just talking about listen, you know, awesome.
It's also the I make up words microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people don't know that aside Praise Radio Show, that we do have other shows that we are working on, that we are producing, that we are relaunching since COVID, and just the many things that each individual person that's a part of the network, the show does behind the scenes separately as well. So some things to, be spotlighted and some things, some
And
individuals.
the only way you'll know is if you keep tuning in.
Keep tuning in.
Come on now. What y'all say?
And I'm sure we have a lot of viewers that
Yes.
are also doing some phenomenal things, and we would like to, we have a segment called Spotlight What's Right. So we would love to spotlight what you're doing in your community, in your church, for the kingdom.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
usually do it at the end of the show, but we'll do it now
Right.
also. Write us at praiseradioshow@gmail.com. Let us know what you're doing, what your neighbor's doing, what your pastor's doing, youth leader, your children. Let us know what's going on, what we should spotlight, or if you want to come in the studio, and we're in New York, but you're welcome to come in the studio and be a guest also. So let us know. We love.
I have a question. Because I've been looking a lot on the internet, Facebook, Instagram, and all that. And a lot of people are pulling out relationships. Questions about relationships. And because you got some people who want to be in a relationship, and they haven't seemingly figured out what they want to do. And I kind of look at it sometimes and I say to myself, if you want to be in a relationship, what is the difficulty of moving on from one relationship to another? And that's just something that has been twirling in my head, because as believers in Christ, doesn't mean that we can't build a relationship with each other, and not just having a relationship with the Lord. Yeah, there was some sounds in the background.
Don't mind him, he's laughing at somebody behind the camera.
Yeah. So that was something I wanted to put out there, because there's people who are saying, I'm tired of, and I'm out of this relationship, but I want to get in another one. But why is it that people don't want to move on fast enough, or they don't want to choose the person that's the question? Why do people don't want to choose the person that's choosing them, and they always take time to sit back and search out whatever or whoever?
It's loaded.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot of questions in one question.
Yeah.
But in terms of one of the last things I heard you say was, why don't people choose who chooses them, pretty much, or why when someone chooses them, they're still looking everywhere else. For me, I guess it would depend on the individual and the individual
So you talking about
storyline.
you married? Husband's in the studio too, so let's get this right, all right? I gotta go home, okay?
I can't.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on each individual storyline. I mean, for me, and not being, deep, but it would boil down to, who does God choose for you? Did he choose you for each other? I do feel like God gave us free will to make choices and to meet people and to put yourself out there. But at the end of the day, I don't know, I guess it would be, you know, each individual person would have a different answer. Someone may choose me, but if I'm not interested in them, or, you know, maybe there's something that, you know, is not vibing with me in regards to their spirit, that would just be one of many reasons why they choose me, I don't choose them. Or maybe, you know, in the midst of my prayer time,
Right.
God already, you know, showed, not me, but showed, I'm just using me as an example, showed that person, you know, which direction he wanted them to go. And for some people, maybe it's not, you know, sometimes we get out of one relationship and jump right into another, and maybe they're in, you know, still in the midst of that process, right? So maybe it's not that they would not accept that person that is choosing them as much as during this time they're not, you know, looking to move forward in a relationship, a romantic relationship at the time.
Well, you know, because I've seen it happen. I know somebody, you know, that's how you say it when you don't want to use yourself. You know, I know somebody who,
A friend of mine.
a friend of mine. No,
Because
well,
in Christian, you
someone
say,
I
I know somebody.
I know
In the Bible,
someone.
when you knew someone,
It
it was intimate.
Yeah. So, unscripturally speaking, unscripturally speaking.
How well did you know them?
Yeah. No, it's just interesting because you see it a lot. I see it a lot now. And a lot of times you can really like someone and they don't see you in the same light. Like, you know, when coming up, I remember one time I liked a girl. I liked it in her.
I heard it, but I wasn't gonna say it.
I liked it in her. And she didn't like it me. She liked it me as a friend. And it really bothered. I mean, we was in, was it junior high? Yeah, we was in junior high school. And it actually hurt me. You know, yeah.
We need sound effects.
You know,
That's a puppy.
it actually, that's
That's
what
puppy.
yeah, well, it was puppy love.
Oh.
And so, you know, I look at that and I say that does not leave you regardless of your age or your stage, because of the fact that emotions follow you. And we have to learn how to deal in not just a relationship with one another, but it kind of renders into the same way with God. Because we're trying to build a relationship with God, and sometimes we don't feel that God is there for us. But even though we know He's always there, you know, we kind of feel like, I don't want to use the word rejected, but I will. We kind of feel rejected. So rejection is something that is very hard for human nature to take.
Absolutely, and I was gonna say that. That's a whole other show, rejection.
Wow.
But rejection, feeling like God's not there, but we have His promises, and we also have lots of experience to go back and look on, and we also have, you know, testimonies of others to know, like He is always there. He will come through. It can happen, but when it comes to a human being, when you don't have those experiences, and of course they're not God, so that rejection hits different. And at the end of the day, and yeah, definitely could be deeper. For me, I would say if something happened in childhood or in your youth where you were rejected and that rejection hurt, but years later that rejection is still prevalent, it's still there, or it still affects your other relationships, then I feel like it might be something even deeper, or maybe you were, or your friend was rejected in another way or other ways prior to that moment that causes that sting to still be felt as if it just happened.
Or a similarity appears. Because if you went through something in your childhood and you've kind of gotten over it, but it seems to come back as you get older, because like I said, it doesn't change its spots. You know, rejection is rejection, regardless of what it is. And so as you've gotten older now and it comes back, you could still feel that same element of emotion that you felt even when you was younger, but you didn't understand it back then. But you understand it more now because of the fact that you've been more attuned to what life is and who you are as an individual. So I think, you know, maybe that's what pushes people away from selecting. You ever see the I mean, I don't watch these, but you know,
Your friend does?
Yeah, a friend of mine does. Yeah, it's the what do you call them shows?
Reality?
Yeah, those shows. See, I didn't even know what it was.
You didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
So you gonna play me, cause I knew, right?
Yeah. But even in those, you see how people seem to, you know, get rejected or have some sort of walk through life, and so.
Rejection is a part of life, and everybody handles rejection different. Which is why I said, you know, if you're still harboring pain or it still dredges up feelings of the past, then it may go a little deeper. And just asking God to, you know, reveal those things to you, so your friend.
Yeah.
So your friend knows what specifically to pray about, or
Nobody's
maybe, you
watching
know,
the show.
it's a matter of deliverance, or, you know, maybe just a matter of making sure hitting home and just saying. But we're gonna take a break real quick, because I think I was getting.
We're not rejecting
high,
you. We're not
but
rejecting you.
I ain't gonna look that way. I am rejecting that look I just got. But we'll be right back.
Touch that down. Hey, welcome back to the Praise Radio Show, man. We're having a good time here, and we've picked a topic right out of the spirit realm to talk about, because I think it's relevant enough that a lot of people are going through this, especially because of the time of the pandemic that was there, because of the time of all of us being away from one another, you know, to be able to talk about relationships and rejection, because, you know, I think rejection has hit people in many different forms and fashion. You know, you've been rejected from your job.
Right.
You know, a lot of you've been rejected
Friendships.
from your house. You know, people have lost, not you, but I'm just saying people have lost their partners. There's so many things that have pushed people, you know, to whereas people are sitting on a thin line. And that relationship with God is so important right now, so that however you might feel emotional, however you might feel rejected, we just want to give you hope and give you an attitude of joy. She's not here, but we want to give you an attitude of she rejected us today, but just give you an attitude to say, hey, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know, I'm not going to let no person, no thing, no subject, no nothing deal with my emotions to a degree where I feel rejected. You know what I'm saying?
Well, rejection is a part of life. I mean, unfortunately, each individual, you know, you're not for everybody.
Right.
So, and that has to, when you have, no. Or, you know.
Well, I've never dropped the mic.
But you have to get to a place of being okay with that.
Right.
I mean, there's all different levels of rejection. You can be in a marriage and have someone interested in you, and you're in a marriage, so they could still feel rejected, even though, you know, it's inappropriate. What's happening?
We're gonna record this.
Even though, you know, and maybe it's inappropriate, but that don't mean they won't still feel a sense of rejection if they felt like, hey, I shot my shot, or in their mind, things aren't great at home, or even if you're single, and again, you're in a process, or you're just not interested in them. You don't have to take on every person that chooses you or that's interested in you. I mean, if you're single and you're choosing to date and just be friends and hang out and have fun until you feel in your spirit that's the person for you, fine. But if you're out on that date and things change and you're starting to look at that person and, you know,
how you doing?
Right.
Check, please.
And you're looking at them like this,
hey.
and they're looking at you like, what's wrong with you?
No, but they don't know you looking at them because you want to know if they're going to pay the check.
Nobody's picking up the check for you that way. But you know, you can always, if you are not, or in the process of dating, you're not ready to settle down with one person, like, even if, you know, you have someone that's interested in you, like, as long as you're clear with your intentions or where you're at, I feel like, you know, sometimes we get caught up on if the person is not, you know, receptive the way we feel that, you know, they should be receptive. It's rejection. I know plenty of people that are in relationships with individuals that at some point they said no to, that they were not interested in the beginning, and then they wound up marrying that person. That they were not interested in, and eventually wound up dating that person. Like for me, I would say, you know,
You can't
take
say too much.
take time and just get, you know, be friends and get to know people and enjoy one another's company. I mean, if you're not ready, you know, maybe that person just wants to date, and at some point, you know, they'll realize in the midst of laughing and joking one day, it's like, hey, like you're my person, or I'm really vibing with you, or I really do like you, and then, you know, you have that conversation. But
So then are you saying that that a person then should really start courting more than one individual? Because you're not,
No.
so how are you gonna know who it is that you desire to have? Okay, you said something earlier, you said you can go out, be friends, you know, I mean, we all got friends we go out with, hang out the whole nine of the opposite sex. So, you know, you might like that person, that's your friend, but then again, see, here's where I get confused at.
right.
Right. How you? I'm confusing because I comb my hair different. You know. Here's what's confusing. Because I really forgot what I was going to say. And then because it threw y'all. No, but
He was talking about
dating.
going out with
Right.
friends. and
Dating.
Right.
What we have to define in life what dating is. Because if I ask one girl, hey, you want to go to lunch? Fine. That don't mean I'm taking you out on a date. We just going out to lunch.
That's not a romantic date.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's-
dating has to be romantic?
No.
Right.
So it has to be.
So then why do we label it as dating? I mean, I've gone out to lunch with people.
Have a lunch date with your bestie.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean I need to have a relationship with them.
So I think it basically
About communication.
right. I think basically that means, you know, just have a conversation with each other, communicate, let each other know where you are in that moment. So if you're dating, for example, somebody may say, hey, you know, what you doing Friday night? Let's go eat. Well, for me, if you're saying let's have lunch tomorrow versus let's go out tomorrow night, that may mean something different, you know, time frame for different people. So then you ask, like, okay, like we just went out as friends, or, you know, you ask me.
But
on a
you're not
date.
asking that question. Now,
I would.
a woman would ask that
I-
question, yeah?
Again,
I've never had that
For
question
me-
asked to me.
oh, if it's a date, because I feel like you know. Again, that's what I'm saying. I feel like you would know. Because more than likely something led up to that person saying, hey, would you like to go out and eat? If
I
y'all met-
like to eat.
You agree.
I might want company. And so as a
Okay.
man, I just want company. I'm vibing with you.
Right.
We rocking and rolling. That's for you older generations, you know. And and so, you know, hey, what you doing? Yo, I know you probably got some. What about Friday night? Yo, what's the name is coming to town? The Rock Your House band.
The what?
The Rock Your House band.
Nobody's available for that. I see where the rejection is. So you're inviting people to the Watch Your House band. This is getting weird. Again, I think some things aren't rocket science. I think sometimes you can kind of feel if the person just wants to have company and go hang out. If you're working together and you get ready to go out to lunch, I'm getting ready to go out to lunch, and you're like, yo, you want to go check out that new spot down the street? I don't
Right.
think you're asking me out on a date.
Right.
But in the same token, if you say, what you doing Friday night? You know, hey, I got some tickets and, you know, you want to go?
Hey, you got $40?
Right.
Yeah.
Then I might joke with that person and be like, you asking me out on a date?
No, you got
You know?
$40.
For your
You
ticket.
got a ticket. Yeah. Shit.
But-
And we can still be on a date.
But my point in the communication is, if you are dating or, you know, you're hanging out, you're having fun with this person and something changes in you, or you start picking up something changing the other person, there's nothing wrong with talking about it or being like, look, we've been having fun, we've been hanging out, but I'm really starting to like you, or I would love to see where this can go.
I don't know why. I don't know.
That's weird to you? You've never had a conversation with no, see?
Nah. Maybe that's why I'm sleeping.
You
Yeah.
have to
No,
communicate.
I understand what you're saying. But you do eventually. See, men are roll a little different. You know, we roll a little different. roll head first. So the thing is that I guess it depends on your sense of courage. Because you gotta have courage. To me, you gotta have courage
Okay.
to ask a woman out on a date or to let her know that, you know what, I'm interested in you. Because, we're not just rolling up to no girl, hey, you know what, we've been out for a couple of times, man, I just really like you, and you wonder why she's looking at you like that. That's not how you do it. You just, I don't know, I think it's
But
a
when I was
work
single,
up thing.
I've had people do that. So I do believe that it takes a lot of courage.
Mhm.
I do believe that, again, if rejection is an issue, then absolutely it's going to be more difficult. But we're going to go on break real quick,
Yeah.
and we'll be right back.
Well, remember, you said
Talk about
something earlier
relationships and
too.
Rejection.
You said everybody goes through rejection.
Everybody.
So,
talk about their
yeah,
life.
so it's coming. Don't touch that down.
Don't listen to him. There's no doubt.
No, she wanted to tell you don't touch that
I
down.
started to.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm not gonna touch the camera, just pause and.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. We're not doing anything else today.
Jay, if you're watching, okay, we're having technical difficulties. All right, we are not touching that dial. All right, so
10 minutes.
this one is 10 minutes also. Yes. All right, I'll bring us back in since
What?
Mr. Joy wants to be difficult.
Right,
Go ahead.
so then we're doing another 10, but when are you doing?
That's when we do the 15,
Oh.
because it's the last 5.
Use this remote, but I think the battery in it, it's a battery in it, but I
Well,
think
battery
it's
problems.
What's happening?
for the
Jay?
speaker.
You need to
Oh.
come to me, girl.
Duracell, okay, very
But
Duracell.
it's a
Yeah,
battery
behind
in
the
it, but I
scenes
think
people
it's
have
dead.
technical
It's not used to
difficulties.
control it.
Somebody that was drinking and you slurping.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
No,
Snacks
the
was-
owner got us working with faulty equipment.
Ooh.
Zach
Ooh.
Golder, do better. We need
Nah,
better
we just probably
equipment
need
in this
to,
video.
because we had that wire for a while, so we probably need the.
New wire
the
and
wire
a
and the
battery.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna bring us back. That was me getting serious. Watch this again. Welcome back to the Praise Radio Show.
Yeah.
And we are talking relationships and rejection.
Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I don't know. It's just been on my heart lately because I've been watching people and I've been reading certain things on Facebook and all of that. And I'm saying so many people seem to be out of touch and afraid to make that step forward. And that's what it came on my mind and in my heart, that, maybe we should talk to our listening audiences about it. And, we might be, right now, we might be helping somebody who's out there
Well,
right
we
now.
might be getting rejected one day.
Uh,
But
Yeah.
it's interesting also because life is so much different than years ago, and
Mhm.
that there are so many dating apps and so many other opportunities, like sliding in somebody's DMs, and there's so many opportunities when it comes to letting someone know that
Mhm.
you're interested, that you can actually hide behind a camera, hide behind, even, there is such thing as catfishing. So a lot of people
What is
do,
that?
did you say, what is that?
Yeah, because I eat catfish. I hope it ain't,
Oh, you said that. So that's when
Okay.
you have maybe you have
Throw your name up too?
no.
Oh.
When you maybe have a fake image up, a fake profile.
Oh, okay. I
to
got what
be
you're
who
saying
You are
now.
not.
Okay.
So you can reel that person in.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you're not comfortable.
Like,
and
yeah.
right.
Like I put up my face, but Arnold Schwarzenegger bottom.
No one's gonna believe that one.
You don't think so? You don't think they'll believe that?
There's
Okay.
a lot of reasons. But I'm not gonna believe that one. But there's so many different options when when you talk about dating, and there's so many different options when you talk about rejection also. So I mean, again, rejection's a part of life, and I think how it affects you determines if you're in a healthy space of dealing with it, or if maybe you need a little more help and guidance in dealing with
Now
it.
here's something to tap on to that.
Tap on.
Why does everything have to have a title? You my boyfriend, you my girlfriend, you my man, you my woman. Why is that necessary anymore? I mean, I can see when you were
So
young.
you don't have to say husband and wife.
No, you do. That's what you have to say. That's a different story. Yeah. That's a whole nother show. But I've seen that, my friend, you know, the guy we're talking about, he doesn't
Does he not like titles?
He doesn't like titles.
Does that okay, so are we going back to because of rejection or are we going
No.
to commitment?
Why you have to use the C word? Yeah, I think, now see, when you're talking about relationships, rejection, you have to start talking about commitment.
Yes. And again,
Yeah,
I think it boils down to the individuals. Like every storyline is not going to be the same.
Right.
So if in the midst of dating and you guys get serious and you do not want a boyfriend, girlfriend title, and I think that's fine. Some people feel like at a certain age, I don't want to call, you know, my 90-year-old friend, my boyfriend.
Yeah, that's my girl right there. That's my baby.
You know, but then to keep the youth,
Right.
maybe I do. I think that's, you know, individual thing, but I just think it brings about, I think those titles bring about connection and also just let it I think it's really for other people. Like, this is my boyfriend.
And some people don't care. And some folks don't care. You know what I'm saying?
This is his girlfriend.
Yeah. That reminded me of a show I was watching, a sitcom, and she kept going around. I don't want to say the name of the show at all, but she kept going around saying, "Well, how come you don't introduce me to none of your friends? I'm your girlfriend." So every time he said, "Hey, everybody, this is so and so, my girlfriend." Some people out there might know what show I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, before the party was over, they was introducing, "Oh, this is so and so and so," and the whole place yelled, "Yeah, that's his girlfriend!" You know what I'm saying? So, but she was, and you know where that comes from too? We don't think about this. That could come from a point of insecurity also. That I need people to know that I'm connected or attached to that person. You know, and we got a blink blink going on.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
No? Oh, okay. Skip the blink blink. Okay. But that's the dealio with it.
You said we got a blank, they don't know what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
We've been having a little technical difficulty. It's
You thought
okay,
the
we
camera
good.
cut off on him?
Yeah, I did.
It did.
Yeah.
It likes you.
It likes me. But yeah, I mean, relationships is such a small word, a lot of big definitions to it. You know, it has a lot of different sequences attached to it. You know, that's why when we talk about building a relationship with God, man, there's so much attached to that.
Yeah.
It's redunculous, man.
But I feel like I feel like you can't. Well, it's going to be more difficult to establish a relationship with anyone else when you don't first have a relationship with Christ. And I feel like having a relationship with Christ, that will help you to build on your relationship with others.
But first, relationship with yourself. Relationship with Christ, gotta have a relationship with myself. Because if I don't know who I am, why am I trying to bring you on to be committed to me and I don't even know who I am? So it's best that you get to know who God is because we're made in His image and His likeness. And therefore, if we know who we are in Christ and what He has promised us and the whole 9 yards, now we have something to bring to the table. You know, people say, well, what you bringing to the table? It's not always about money, you know, and it ain't always about chicken, neither. But it's about bringing yourself to the table, whereas you're able to say, hey, this is who I am. Like, for me, for example, when people, like even when I go out and I teach, I always tell people, I don't have to stand here and tell you about me. Go to Isaiah 61, 1-3. Then you'll know who I am. You know, so I'm relating myself to Christ,
So deep.
but I can be spiritual without being spooky. But I can also, that's spooky, and I can also be earthly, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, praise God.
But,
So,
yeah, you know, again, I'm always going to go back to God first.
yeah.
And that's with relationships, that's with dealing with rejection. Because again, you live long enough, you're going to go through some rejection. And being able to tell yourself, you know what, fine, you know, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
They don't know what they missed.
Because it even starts as a baby.
But like I said, then you never know, because you may end up on a date with that person, may end up in, you know, a relationship with that person at some point.
And then find out that's not even the person you really
And
like.
then you're like,
Why did I go through this? So here's my question then. This is why I want to know when we shouldn't title things, because you don't know if that's the person or not. So you could still go out with this one for lunch, as you were saying, on the job. You're going out with this one because that's your homie. You're going out with this one because da-da-da. But you have to do all of that, not concerning yourself with what people are going to think. Because you know people are going to judge. Especially a woman. They don't judge men. They judge the woman if you going on this date with that guy, not date, you're going out with this guy, you're going out with that guy, you're going out with this guy. But let a brother do it, or a man, you da-da-da-da-da-da, you the homie, y'all, my man.
I think we're on a different topic, because I think when you are having relations with multiple people is where the judgment comes in. I think when you're dating,
But nobody's gonna know that.
right, but I think, well, somehow we tend to find things out. But at the end of the day, right, nobody
Guesstimating, we guesstimate.
necessarily know or should know.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, you said it earlier, you can go to lunch with a coworker, you can go on a date with a friend. But you having friends and hanging out with different people, like, some people may not want to jump in, you know, meeting somebody for the first time and jump right into courting, or, you know, making it all deep and serious and having titles when you're dating. For me, I don't feel like the dating process is when you're getting those boyfriend-girlfriend titles. I feel like the dating process is just that. We're going out on a date. We're getting to know each other to see if that's where we want to go.
Word date.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
Date. What date is it? What's the date?
What's the date? What is it? Yeah. That's right.
Oh man, welcome back to the Praise Radio Show. We are so excited that you're still here with us. You didn't touch that dial, and we just hope that our conversation today just brought some enlightenment to some of the things that you've been thinking about, some of the things that's been on your mind. And if you have, you know, any more questions that you want to ask us, we don't know, but you can send it in to us anyway. You know, or you want us to continue this subject at a later date, you know, feel free.
Yes.
We'll give you the information at the end of, they're doing sign languages, but at the end of the show, we'll be able to contact, you know.
That part.
Yeah, that part.
Are you being distracted? The sign language
Yeah,
is
you can get back
distracting
here.
you?
5 minutes, no, 3, no, 2, no, 1. Boom, blow up!
But we've been talking about dating and being single. You can also feel rejected in marriage. There are people that feel rejected in marriage. There's a variety of ways to feel
Been there.
rejected in marriage. From, you know, the person, like, some people feel invisible in their homes. Like they're not seen. You could be rejected in the area of intimacy and sex. You could be rejected, you know, maybe y'all don't do date night. I feel like some
You should
people,
always have that as
you
a
should,
married
but I
couple.
feel like some people fight hard to get that person, and then once they say I do, a lot of times
They don't.
it's like want.
Yeah, they don't.
Right. And so you could feel rejected, and I feel like that's a really, really dangerous place to be in a marriage when you're battling rejection and loneliness, because it leaves you or your spouse, the one that's feeling that way, vulnerable. Right. And when we talk about loving somebody, you know, it's in my opinion, like, how can you truly love somebody but you leave them out to the wolves in that manner? And then for the person that's feeling that way, also finding out, you know, in some situations, again, every storyline is different, figuring out, you know, is it me? Is it something going on in me? Maybe, you know, maybe that person's not rejecting you as much as some issues, you know, that you may be dealing with in that moment. Or is there something going on with that person? Like, that's not their intention to reject you, but they have some, you know, things they're dealing with, or some past trauma that may have been drudged up or whatever. But
They avoid
that's
communication.
a hard one.
They avoid communication, because if you don't have communication, you know, rejection is liable
We
to
get
slip
going.
in. Yeah.
Right, you have to communicate, you have to talk. I remember one time I was watching someone speak online. I was watching a church service, and one of the things that the pastor said, how often are you and your spouse checking in with one another? And I was like, yeah, you should check in at least once a week with one another. You know, how did the week go? You know, what could have been done different between the both of us? Is there anything you need from me that you did not receive this week? But the preacher was like, you should check in, because people were giving different answers, and he's like, you should be checking in every day.
Yeah.
You should check in every day with your spouse. And you don't have to, you know, again, everybody's different, everybody's circumstance and situation is different. So checking in could be as simple as, how was your day?
On the phone.
You
If
good?
We got different hours. You
Right.
work dates, I work days. Hey, I'm just calling to check on you. How you doing? You know.
Right, and you know, it don't have to be every single day you're, you know, having these deep, profound conversations.
Right.
However,
Just checking on you.
you know, if you are in the same space every day, it is good to have a moment without the kids, without the phones, without the TV, that everything is shut down, and you were giving quality time to that person just to check in and be like, you know, are you good?
Is everything alright, my love?
So when you're dating, are you singing? I'm trying to get to the bottom of you and this friend,
Yeah.
rejection.
Well, yeah, he's an artist, you know.
Is he an artist?
Yeah, he's an artist. Yeah.
So anyway,
You don't draw though.
so silly. But yeah, so that's a tough one too, because you know, the enemy just needs that little crack.
That's it.
That little crack, and once you give it to him, I mean, there is even scriptures in the Bible that is very clear that when it comes to a husband and a wife, like y'all one. So there are days that you're supposed to, days, times, hours, minutes, whatever works for you guys, come together as one. That keeps that connection. That keeps that bond. That's that intimacy between you
Sister
two.
Bible. Oh, she's not here.
She's not here. So when you do not have that, then the enemy
Causes
will
friction.
it causes friction between the two individuals when you're not, and then it's a whole other thing, because you can have that rejection, and once once you're able to communicate, look, this is how I feel, or this is how you're making me feel, then you can get to a place of resolving those issues. But if you're in a relationship with someone and you're like, this is how I feel, and this person is not acknowledging, this person is not changing, this person is not trying to do what it is that that person needs, that's when the rejection and the issues come in. And the enemy, like I said, he just needs that little crack. That's when the phone will ring.
Yeah.
That's when
Distractions
you'll be
start.
at work.
Yeah.
And again, just talking in general, because I don't work for anybody, so talking in general, this is not happening at work. But, you could be at work at the water cooler, and, that nice gentleman in the office down there stops by and does something.
And he don't even drink water.
Right. And it's something as simple as, that's a really nice outfit you have on today. And because your spouse did not say that that's a nice outfit before you left, and your spouse is not complimenting you, and you're feeling like you're not seen.
Thank you.
Right. And now it's like that becomes a big thing, where
Yeah.
normally you would have said thank you and went on your way, like thanks. But, I know sometimes
It's attention. That's the word.
it's the attention, it's how
Yeah.
it makes you feel.
Yeah.
And again, it's those intimate moments. I think one of the most difficult, I think one of the most difficult things when you're in these situations in a relationship where you're feeling like you're not being seen or you're being rejected is to have someone else presenting themselves, or the enemy presenting before you that you're receiving what you're not getting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that may not be the situation, because you don't know that person, but you're not getting that at home. You're looking at it like, wow, this person sees me. This person respects me. This person is listening to me. And that's how a lot of people wind up falling victim to those situations.
That's kind of touchy too, because as myself, not my friend, this is me.
This is you.
This is me. I'm a very outgoing, very friendly person, and like to make sure that people are in a joyful mood. And so that also means that woman could be taking it the wrong way.
Well,
also.
absolutely.
If she's not getting it at home, in what
Right.
you're saying. So that can cause a problem too, because now she could start presenting herself onto him instead of him presenting himself onto her. And he's like a little confused, but aren't you married?
Or he's not confused. Maybe he's having a weak moment in his flesh, or maybe, you know, he with it. I don't know.
Many
But-
different things can happen.
Right, but that's what I mean by that moment is being presented
Yeah.
to that person because they're looking at it through their pain versus, you know, what it
Yeah.
is. Or
Yeah.
even if it is that, even if
Right.
he is trying to address you, if you weren't looking at it in your pain, it's like, wait, bye, I'm married, Craig. Get out of here. You're so
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah.
And not saying, you know, it's Craig at the water cooler, Craig, if you're watching.
Yeah,
don't know you.
and his wife
So
is
it's
sitting
not
there.
personal.
Oh, they talking about you?
I'm not talking about him. Craig's a nice guy. He
Yeah.
would never.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a tough
This
one.
is-
So
yeah,
it's
that's-
important again, God first,
Individually.
and then you know you have to have those conversations. You have to be so comfortable with your spouse that you can, and you should. You're married. Why marry somebody? Let me ask you this question.
Yes, it
Why marry someone that you cannot be vulnerable with or around? Why? If you cannot have those tough conversations with them, I feel like some of that should have already been taking place
Right. Some
during that engagement process.
of it.
You're right, some of it, where you were getting to know each other.
Right.
Because those are the things that
The most intimate
help
secrets.
y'all, you know, kind of draw into one another. So why is it that some people get married and then it's like, well, I didn't want to tell you that because I didn't know how you would take it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to tell you that because
love
I was
that. I love that.
uncomfortable. Like, you know, a lot of these excuses, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Most people know exactly what
I
they're
didn't
doing.
want to tell you that because I thought you just want to be nosy.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like in marriage, it should be full disclosure,
Yeah.
full transparency. I should be able to come and speak to you about anything. I was watching YouTuber Tabitha Brown, and they were having a discussion about marriage, and one I think somebody wrote in, if I'm not mistaken, was it on Tabitha Brown?
It was on
I
the
think
show.
it was on a show. But I've been watching a lot of her shows because they've been, her and her husband have been having guests on. They've been talking a lot about marriage and relationships, and I've just been enjoying it, and it's really beautiful. But I was watching a show, in case it was not hers. I was watching a show, and someone wrote in and was asking what's, no, I don't think it was hers. It was too close. Like, can you be too comfortable? That was the question. Can you be too comfortable with your spouse? And the couple basically were like, no, you cannot be. You know, we don't feel you can be too comfortable, but whatever is comfort for you two, again,
Right.
is between you two. Because you can be comfortable doing any and everything, but you still respect boundaries and privacy and so on and so forth. But I feel like, you know, full disclosure, I should be able to go to my husband and tell him anything or talk to him about anything and not feel like I'm going to be judged or...
Yeah. Right. Because intimacy, in case you really want to know what it means,
You're about to get deep.
intimacy means into me you see. That means that, you know, I took the shield off, you know, so now you can see my cape, you know, that I wear under my clothes. You know that I'm really Superman and I'm not Clark Kent.
It's
You
getting
know,
strange.
that's you know,
Miss Joy,
so-
you not here? He's
Yeah.
still talking about taking off his clothes.
Yeah.
Weird happening when
Yeah,
it's
so-
a freshman show.
Well, but I have my Superman suit on under, you know.
Okay.
But that's what intimacy really is. We sometimes think of it only in a romantic sense.
Right.
But it's really getting into a person. When you get intimate with a person, like exactly what you're talking about, we could sit down, whoever that person is, whether it's your husband, whether it's your wife, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's somebody that you don't mind sharing with your most intimate, deep, light secrets. See, people always want to talk about dark secrets. I'm talking about my deep, light secrets. See, something new. You know, that's when intimacy should appear. You know, so now I know something about you, and you know something about me,
And that
and
created
now
an
I
intimate
expose
moment.
myself. Yeah, it's being exposed, exposing yourself. Not, you know, I mean, you know what I mean out there listening to audience.
Joy, he's just up here showing off and showing out today.
Yeah.
It's getting weird, so let's bring it back.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Oh man, but praise God.
Praise.
We're just
Praise.
glad that God is able to give us something that we can share with you brothers and sisters out there. That
Right.
you know, everybody's going through something. So we might not know what exactly you're going through, but God does. So we're hoping that something was said somewhere along the line that tapped into your being, you know, to the degree where it's, you know what, wow, I thought nobody went through that. Or you ever, you know, hear people say something and you're like, wow, I thought I was the only one that was going through that.
Nothing more
man."
than the sun.
You know? Man.
That's why testimonies are so important.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why testimonies are so important. You're not the only one dealing with rejection.
Relationships,
But again, right.
commitment,
It's how
marriage,
you're dealing with it, and how you're going
intimacy.
through the process. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of that. All of that. We all go through. We just
And
go
you
through
can have a
different-
phenomenal marriage and
Yeah.
still, you know, have moments when, you know, you're dealing with some of this stuff. It don't mean that the marriage isn't great or your spouse is terrible. You know, every situation, every moment is
Because
different.
every relationship means that there's room for growth.
Absolutely.
There's no relationship there where there's no room for growth. Because in a relationship, even with our Heavenly Father, we're still growing into knowing Him. We'll never know Him to the degree
Never.
of everything like He knows us.
Right.
You know, He wasn't in our mama's womb, you know.
He was there.
He was, yeah, he was like, yo, you okay on there, man?
He was with
Is it
me.
dark? Is it dark in there?
He was with
Need some
me.
light?
We're gonna take another
Yeah.
break.
Yes.
We are gonna come back.
And spotlight what's right.
We're gonna spotlight what's right, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Don't touch that down.